be prepared for if they say something you don't agree with as well. You know, because a genius might pop down with IQ of 250 or something and be like, I think people deserve money an hour minimum. I think businesses that can't pay that are lying. Which I don't know if they would ever put themselves in a position like that. I think this guy would put himself in a position like that and say something like that. This guy would probably say something like, we all deserve a living wage. But then you also might get somebody who drops in with 250 IQ. Well, okay, obviously nobody's going to drop in with 250 IQ right now, but except for maybe her. You might get somebody who drops in with 150 plus IQ who is like, you know, no, there shouldn't be a living wage. And then you have to be prepared for, so if you hear something that contradicts what you believe from a genius, you have to be prepared to deal with that. And you have to be prepared to try to understand why. You also have to be prepared to challenge that, because just because they're a genius doesn't mean they're right. But here's the thing, if they are a genius, they have like better problem solving skills naturally. They can just figure stuff out better. And so I wish when it comes to like improving society and stuff, like math is good, and if you invent things and you figure out all these formulas and stuff, they'll lead to improvements in life. But I mean, they're thinking ahead and they're doing things that challenge them intellectually as much as possible. But I just wish they would take more ethical stances, and they would talk more about what they believed is right and wrong in life. And I don't know if most of them are just too scared to like press the angry mob, because history shows that angry mobs can be completely insensible and wrong and unjust and cruel when they get riled up with anybody who disagrees with them. But I don't know, if they could sit down and explain, like, what things should change, if people should be better, kinder, maybe if people should actually be more mean. You know, of course they're all going to say people should be more kind, but or would they? One thing I'm disappointed about is none of them. I don't see anything about like being plant-based or anything from any of these people. That's disappointing to me. I don't know if they I don't know. There's just so much evidence and supporting facts that shows that being plant-based is such a good thing for both you and the planet. It would be nice to see more plant-based high IQ people. But I guess there's also some supporting evidence that shows that eating meat is good for our brains. It has stuff like, well, headline iron can be replaced, but there are a couple other things. I've seen somewhere a while ago, vegans were saying basically literally anything you get from meat you can get from other sources. I don't know if I 100% believe all of that, but I'm completely plant-based, and I don't feel like I'm lacking anything that I wasn't lacking before. I do feel healthier than I did before I went plant-based. I felt pretty shitty before I went plant-based, and I can still feel shitty these days, but it's better than I used to feel. Yeah. So again, I just really wish we had more from these people, from the highest IQ people, about, I don't want to say real life stuff, but I want to say modern life. It seems like they don't engage in like modern life activity. Like, they're so far off from our world. They just I don't know what their universe is like, their realities are like, how much challenge they deal with when it comes to like butting heads with other people. If they have like just like really good social communities from the time they're born to the time they die, how lonely these people can be, or how not lonely these people can be. I mean, you look at all this stuff. It always seems like they always have people in their lives. Like I don't see anything about these people being like completely lonely. It seems like they always got like social fields. They always have connections and networks. It seems like they always have support. It seems like there's always people in their lives that are supporting them and, you know, helping them stay healthy and socialized. I mean, I didn't go through all of them. These are just like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. This is just 13 people. So, yeah, here it is. This is IQ. So this is 100 right here. And, you know, this would be like incredible. Well, you didn't have the. Oh, okay. Oh, see, I hate it when they do this. I put in specifically highest recorded IQs, but this is actually like this is a range. I wonder if it's the same way for this guy over here, William James Sidis. Yeah, I wanted to know people who had like who. I just wanted a list of people who we knew exactly what their IQs were, not speculating on their IQs. You know, because Stephen Hawking might not have a very high IQ. He might have just been a savant who just happened to figure shit out pretty well, or he just lucked on some answers. You would think if he's good at mathematics and he figures shit out, of course he's going to have an IQ. But that's not proof. That doesn't ensure anything. You know, in mathematics, you have the numbers, you're very logical and you're deductive, you have the evidence and the facts presented, and you figure out things with what's presented. And you know when when you figure out the answer, you know the answer is correct because there's no other possible answer that it could be. And the problem with when you're trying to decode what IQ somebody might have, you really don't. You don't have that luxury of being completely sure that these people's IQ is like this. Yeah, it's not saying that they knew it or didn't know it. So. Looks like she provides advice and counsel to all sorts of life dilemmas. She's most famous for her column Ask Marilyn. See, that's what I'm talking about. If we just had more of this from people, and if they didn't just get lost in their own like universe of mathematics, which can be very good if you figure stuff out. Like I think like figuring out the genetic code or how to manipulate that, I think that would be one of the best absolute things that could possibly ever happen to the human race. I think that'll make us better people in every way. We'll just be kinder and stuff. We'll be more intelligent emotionally. Like if we could just force our genes to express the best possible things every time a human is born, you can just you know, if you could get to that point where you could just modify their genes to express the best possible things. I haven't actually seen Gattaca, but I know there's a lot of potential for corruption there. I don't know. I just never see anything from people with high IQs being talked about ever and being used for anything. You know, you see, they like to say the world's richest people are the people that, the world's wealthiest people, the people with the most money. They tell us those are the people that we should look up to and listen to. But they're not the smartest people. They might have some of the highest IQs, but they're not on these lists. Like, I'm not trying to put anybody on blast here specifically, but let's look.